Color guard, we're spinning, we're catching, we're dancing around. Color guard. Effect.
Okay.
Emotion.
Perform.
Yeah. Poise.
Right.
All right. That's good. All right. I feel ready to do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Fan Seat from Synced Up Designs. Today, I have a very special guest with me, and we're going to be watching some great color guard clips from drum corps. It's summertime. We're getting excited about watching this year's drum corps, but we wanted to go back and just give some, shouts and praise to all of the amazing guards of the past with some incredible moments. So I'm Dan Twyford, the sales manager at Synced Up Designs. In drum corps world, I marched in the Cavaliers and the Reading Buccaneers before that. But I love some good drum corps, and today I am joined by...
My name's Kyle Gwynn. I am the Synced Up Movement Coordinator here. I do all the choreography for our clients. Drum corps-wise, I marched from Phantom and Blue Devils, and then Winter Guard, I marched at Origins and Paramount. So a lot of background in color guard for sure.
That's right, including Paramount this year, this
past winter I was at Paramount.
2025, incredible year. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, yeah, so today we're going to be checking out a list of amazing color guard clips that Kyle put together. So if we miss any of your favorites, you got to make sure in the comments you let us know. But I'm sure you're going to be quite pleased by this list that Kyle put together.
Yeah.
I have not seen most of these in the past, and I just have to admit, as a drummer, frequently when I watch drum corps, I'm usually watching the percussion first, but as the years have gone on and as I've done, more higher level teaching, I've certainly loved to appreciate the fullness of the program and from how color guard contributes to a general effect perspective and emotional perspective of the program, as well as just on the technical side, where I may not know what I'm looking at all the time, but I live to be impressed. I love to be impressed by magic color guard action.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel the same way too. I've tried my best recently to look at the entire ensemble and see some things. So my list now does try to include a little bit of a good mix of some of the stuff out there. Not just color guard, but how well color guard integrates into the full ensemble. So disclaimer: this is my personal favorites list. I may not have everyone's favorite, but yeah. So we can just get right into it.
Yeah.
All right, so the first group that we're going to do is going to be Star of Indiana, 1993. So we'll just watch the clip first, and then we'll go into why I
twist
have this
my
on
arm.
our
Let's watch
list.
Star 93. So I noticed they're not using flags, rifles, or sabers. What are we looking at here?
So I believe these are just regular PVC poles, and that's actually a really good comment there, is that they're not using traditional guard equipment, but it's still allowing for a great visual, interesting thing to be happening on the field. And that's why I picked this, is because it's a full ensemble doing something that's not just color guard, rifle, flag, or saber, but it's still, adding to that effect, and it's just clean and really cool looking. So, and obviously a double feature too. So you're handling two pieces of equipment at the same time, which is an added layer of difficulty.
Yeah, that's a great point, that they're really doing work with two hands here with two pieces.
Right.
And yeah, pause it real quick just to talk about that a little more. I love how that complements that show too, because I know that show well. It's obviously in the Hall of Fame of percussion shows that everybody worships, if you did not know. But yeah, Star 93 percussion.
Nice to know.
Yes, so good start.
Yeah.
But I know that show just has so much raw emotion and power and space. There's a lot of stark, dry, just space in that score. And I feel like that equipment choice is actually metaphorically really good tie-in to what that show's kind of all about and does artistically.
Right. And then also when you look at it in a visual sense, it creates another layer of angular shapings that really match that musically, I think, with the moment that they're using it at. And again, a full ensemble moment, taking up the space of the field, utilizing the entire ensemble to do the same piece of equipment. I think it's a very interesting thing that they did there.
And I believe that's also the show where they've got all the
yes,
this business in it.
yeah.
Which is great. But again, you went from two PVC poles to, your arms to, very cool.
Yeah, all the crossing and intertwining with your body and all that. Very interesting. I really enjoy it. So as a visual person, it's very stimulating for me. So I really enjoy it. So yeah.
Well, cool. Geniuses who made Star of Indiana 1993.
You guys rock.
We're not worthy.
Right.
Cool. All right, what we got next?
So my next group is going to be Blue Devils 2016. This is going to be, it's not really necessarily equipment spinning. This is just kind of a dance moment. It's a big lift that happens. So we're going to watch it first, and then I'll talk about why this is a really cool moment for me. Yes, we love a Blue Devil hairography moment. Yeah, so that's pretty much that moment right there. A pretty short moment, but just to give a little context to why I put this on my list, I'm a dancer. I have a little bit of a background in it. I studied it at university. And so what this kind of does for me is it studies this idea of Le Bon's movement analysis, which essentially is just a way of observing and kind of putting a language to dance that can be verbally spoken. So talking about things like energy, space, time, flow, and it's this kind of a moment here is really focusing on that and kind of exploring all of those different aspects without having to be too technical, too skill set, too, advanced, but it's still creating that effect in a way that's, like we're studying different ways of movement with fluctuations in speed, the kind of mobile movement of that, the drill form that just kind of like ebbs and flows and all that. And that's, it's just really interesting to me. And I like how they kind of explored that like more dancer-esque type thing with something like that.
Yeah, because that's not, if you think about it, we have, obviously there's a lot of artistry and performance quality that they're giving to the moment, but what it's comprised of isn't, the most technical thing. I mean, really, like what was amazing to me was the velocity of those two pods spinning, and like credit where credit's due. If you weren't the one being lifted or near the center of that, you were running pretty fast.
Yes.
Like they were working their butts off to run around there. But I love that those two pods had more velocity than all of the winds and percussion around them. So it kept the focus and it really delivered like the storytelling that they wanted to do of, the two partners who were lifted, taken apart and put back together. Yeah, I just think that's what a quintessential, like, people love to watch the Blue Devils and be like, what they do is so easy because of da-da-da. Yeah, it's like, okay, but thinking of it,
right,
designing it, intelligently putting it together and placing it and
coordinating and then there's also still some difficulty, like you said. They got some of those people running. And
my gosh.
I think some may have switched pods and stuff like that's difficult too.
Right.
And the cool thing that it does ultimately is it takes you from watching a dancer dance and you're watching a sort of molded shape move, and you're just watching movement, and that it's like it's not human, it's not real, it's different, and it's interesting. And looking at it with the full, like you said, comparing it to the horn line around them and all that, it's very interesting and just very cool to watch as it happens. So yeah.
I love I'm a huge Blue Devil fan. They like to think outside the box. Great example.
Yes,
great
for
guard.
Sure.
Yep,
for sure. So our next group is going to be a little bit of an older group. This is going to be North Star 1978, a pretty popular choice.
Come on with it.
This is going to be one of the more well-known rifle moments. So we'll give a little watch and then we'll chat about it.
Let's go.
When people say old school clean, this is what they're talking about right here.
Yeah. And they're marking time together. Look out.
The head bobbing as well. As
yeah.
They go through that.
Ugh.
And then a good trumpet solo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got to have a screamer.
For sure. So yeah, so like I was saying, that's just a good old example of some really good old school color guard.
So clean
Rifles,
so
clean rotations, which, you know, a lot of people nowadays are like, we have to be clean. We're focusing on that. And it's a little bit different in the modern era of color guard because choreography and what we're doing is obviously very different, you know. It's not as militaristic, so it's a different span of things, but
right.
You know, still trying to strive for things like that nowadays is a really, you know, a primary focus in the world. But I think it's still cool to kind of look back and see on like what it could have been and how things have changed over the years. It's really cool to kind of just see stuff like that.
And well, yeah, with 70s drum corps, it's easy for modern eyes to look at it and be like, oh, that's funny that they're all marking time. But like they had different rules back then as well. Like I'm not sure if that was true in 78, but like at a certain point in drum corps, like everybody had to move their feet in time, and like even like soloists, you know, had to be marking time and stuff like that. But like, holy guacamole, how clean was that, and how good was that, and
and you also have to, you know, give credit where credit's due. Like, that's hard. That's not easy. The double time spinning in time, 1, 2, marking time while you do it, the head bobbing as they're doing it, the integration of getting in and out of the ground as they're doing all of that. It's not easy to do something like that. You know, like trying to get high schoolers just to do drop spins on their own is a feat in its own. So like when you have people doing something like that, even though it looks like it's not super crazy, like we're not doing backflips under 7s and stuff like that, it's still challenging. And
world-class level execution. And I don't, maybe you could tell me, but I don't know where the level of development of vocabulary was by that time. Like, I don't know if that was like, you know, pushing it at that point, or if that was like, you know, like a meat and potatoes skill at the time. I'm not sure, but we can agree, ridiculous execution.
Yes.
All the, you know, it delivered the moment.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool.
So.
Thank you for introducing me to that one. I had not seen that before.
Yeah, no, this is a cool one. I really like it. So.
Yeah. All right. Who do we got next?
Next, we have Crown 2018. This is going to be their Beast show. And I picked this one because of the music, actually. Like, color guard is great, and I'm going to talk about that. But this is probably the most enjoyable trombone feature that I have ever heard in drum corps personally, and I have not yet seen another one that has like topped this one.
All right.
We'll watch it first, and then we'll chat.
Wow.
Right?
More than a little bit going on.
Right.
There.
Yes. A lot of chaos in there that like works. You
Right.
know? But yeah, so this is a really cool moment. Musicality is great. The choreography that's matched with it is like top tier.
Yeah.
Really awesome moment for the full ensemble. And then you have that prop. That prop is crazy. And doing that double time feature we were just talking about, double time is not easy to do.
Yeah.
And then adding a rocking prop on top of it, that's no thank you.
And,
Like-
you know, having performed finals, you know the pressure's on.
Correct,
Like,
yes.
it doesn't matter if you've hit it every other show. You're still like, all right, this is a really hard thing to do.
Exactly.
And we're about to go rock this out.
Yeah. And double time, like there's so much integration with both of your hands that like 1 inch off, you push your rifle out of your hands. And it wasn't that you can't do it. It's just that you like misplaced a hand and now you're knocking the rifle off.
Yeah.
And then if you mess that up, you're on a prop, it falls to the ground.
You're not picking it up and getting back in.
It's not going to happen.
That's
so
it.
You're posing maybe at best. Right.
I
So it's
I
like-
really liked how everybody at the beginning of the phrase had like kind of their own thing going on, and every single person I was just darting my eyes around was like a really great interpretation of this show, of what the character is. And then as the phrase came together, they kind of did some unification and got together and pushed the phrase together. But then, you know, at the end, they finish it off with that exchange, you know, the toss exchange.
And I think it's also important to mention the exchange is that I for sure saw at least 3 exchanges in there that I could see, probably more in all honesty, which is just like so much responsibility, not only for yourself, but for the person that you're exchanging to. You know, you have the first one of the big toss where they're exchanging in front of the prop. Then you have this ensemble exchange with like 20 rifles going to different people all at
Yeah.
once, and then you have that last one that's supposed to like be the end of the moment, and if that doesn't hit, then like,
Right.
oh dang it, you know. So like a lot of pressure, and they executed it very well.
Right.
So like this is just a really cool moment.
Honestly, after just seeing the North Star clip and being wowed by that, and then seeing this vocabulary, I mean,
right,
like,
we see
wow,
how much it's developed, right?
Yeah, right. What has 30 years done, or 40 years to 50, whatever it's been, but
right.
like,
and both of them so cool in different ways. It's
so
just,
cool, yeah,
it's
right.
just such a cool thing.
but
So.
yeah, snap, hat tip to all of those designers and performers.
Yes,
like,
exactly, very much so.
right.
So, yeah.
All right, what do we have next?
The next group is going to be Cavaliers 2002. This is going to be Frameworks.
Okay,
So
major reason why I wanted to do drum corps.
Oh yeah.
Definitely this show, and I think I know what you're gonna show, but
Yeah.
let's go for it.
Let's watch it.
Yeah. There's more.
Pretty sure that's.
Yeah, no, but they come out of it again. Check
Oh
it out.
yeah.
Okay, but break it down.
A lot going on here, obviously. So we have color guard dancing.
Yeah.
We have horn line dancing with
Yep.
them. The drill formation to build into that kind of thing. Crazy.
Yes.
Cool. And then the music. I'm not a percussionist, but I can appreciate a good percussion moment when I hear it. And that's a good one right there. The reason I picked this one is because you have a moment where there's this big dance feature, and you have the entire ensemble minus the percussion featured in this dance feature, and it doesn't feel forced. You know, they're
Right.
doing different parts, and they're in the same space, but it's all well produced and looks good, and it's like something that just like was very impactful, and they did it the right way. And it's not hard choreography either. They're like hitting shapes, very angular,
Yes.
very
Yeah.
percussive, very sharp with everything that they do, very repetitive too, but it gives off what it needs to in the moment, and it still is very impactful. So this is just something I really enjoyed watching.
Yeah. So this was, like I said, earth-shaking moment personally, but I know not just for me. I showed up to band camp that year. I was in high school, and everybody who was like tapped into drum corps showed up going like 1, 2, and 4, 1, and like, you know, at band camp and doing the dance and everything.
Exactly, yeah.
We had one guy from my high school who graduated maybe a year or two before I got into the school, but he was in this horn line.
Oh, really?
And he showed up like, you know, the cool guy who did drum corps to show up at
Right.
band camp like years later. But he told me the story of being taught that. And sorry if I'm miscrediting here, but I think I recall him saying it was Bart Woodley of WGI fame.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Who we love dearly. But Bart teaching that phrase, that dance phrase to the horn line, and how he was like, I thought I showed up to do like, you know, a lot of good playing and a lot of good marching. I didn't know I was going to be learning this, but like
Right.
iconic moment. And another thing that I really think working with that phrase is the Cavalier uniform at that time with the white gauntlets and all, like the way
Yes.
that the arms move with
Yes.
the gauntlet is just works so
And the
well.
color
And
of everything.
The contrary motion, because they're doing it facing the same way, but they're in that circular form.
Right.
So like the contrary motion, and they turn around. Like,
yes.
and the guard in the middle looks like a mosh pit.
Yes.
When that moment pops, it looks like
The lifts and the throws that they were
right.
doing. Yeah.
It's like
all
a
of
fight
that.
broke out in the middle.
Right.
Pandemonium of,
Yeah.
the best, of the highest order.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a cool moment and really good. And I think also like the way drum corps is developing and growing over the years, you know, having band members dancing is just something that like wasn't as expected, but now is becoming a real thing. Like, you know, everyone that does drum corps are dancers. We all are movers, and we all do it as well. So that's just such a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
That like it was, you know, pioneer kind of thing, you know. So yeah, really cool moment.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What do we have next?
Next is going to be Blue Coats this past summer, actually. So the show that they just won with this past summer, and it's going to be a flag feature moment towards the beginning of their show.
changes everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just a quick and short moment, but a few things that are like really cool about this is that one, there's no music playing. It's just an audio. There's nothing else happening on the field besides maybe some transition stuff in the back with props and all that. It is a like color guard focus moment right there up at the front of the field, and that's just such a cool thing that not everyone does all the time, which is, you know, like featuring every section that you have in the group. But the really cool thing about this moment, and I'm not sure if everyone knows this, is that they had mics set up, as you know, as drum corps do, but they had extra mics set up on the front of the sideline that picked up the sound of those silks. And
because they weren't made of silk, right? Those are mylar
like,
flags, or
I believe I'm forgetting the term of the silk. I'll have to
it's
look
like
it up,
almost a light foil material.
Yeah, foil type material.
Right.
And so, and you can kind of see obviously the like tinfoil-esque looking silk, and it's picking up the sound of the silks moving together. And so you hear like the audio of like wind and sound effects in the background, but like you hear the swooshing of the flag that's being fed through the audio,
right,
and into the speakers and then out to the crowd, and just like amplifying that and just adding to the whole thing. So it's the color guard that's doing the music and the sound in that moment. So not only are they spinning, but they're the audio of the moment. So
correct.
Like that,
yeah. How often is that the case? I mean,
right.
like we've all heard like a good clean catch, but like other than that, there's not too many times in drum corps where like the audio of the color guard like is the moment.
Correct. Yeah.
And this is just like, obviously this drum corps is fantastic. The creativity they bring to the table every year is unbelievable. But this is like a moment where two different sections of the design team, like, or three or four, like this is just a win.
Yes.
The audio team and the color guard team collaborating on a moment.
Correct. Yes.
Right? How often can you say that?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you teach drum corps, and how often do you like actively work alongside with the other section tech staff or design staff or whatever, other than just, you know, like you see them on the staff bus, you know what I'm saying? Like usually you go to your separate sections, do your own thing, and then you come back together for ensemble, clean your sections while you're in ensemble, and then call it a night. But like this was a moment that like multiple different groups had to come together, and like you said, definitely a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's and again, almost like the Blue Devils moment we watched, where it's not about the technical difficulty of the phrase, it's about the creative design of the phrase, which makes hundreds of people watching this go, why didn't I think of that?
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like
amazing.
A lot of these things are like this. Why that was so simple? Why didn't I think of it?
Broke
you
new
know?
ground.
Again, and I think that's a thing in world class where people just try and like, you know, you keep trying to be world class, and you're like, we have to do all this stuff, and sometimes you just gotta stand there and like press a hand out or something.
Yeah.
And that, you know, like, yeah. So I think this is definitely a really good example of that. Not saying that the choreography is not challenging, because it definitely is. That's a really cool moment in the choreography. But yeah, this is a great Blue Coats moment.
Yeah.
And then also shout out those costumes. Probably one of my favorite costumes I've ever seen in DCI.
Yes.
For the color guards.
So the whole show, I mean, it's too soon to talk about all-time favorites or anything like that, but I'll just say it was a very special show.
Yes.
Very cool.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, next one is going to be SCV 2017. I think this is just kind of a well-known, all-around favorite flag feature in the color guard community. So we're just going to give that one a quick little watch.
Yeah.
Ooh, where's my mouse? Yeah. So I think that feature for me, it just checks all the boxes. You got A/B work, you got drill fluctuation, you got tight intervals, you have clean flags,
Right.
you have an ensemble moment that just really accents it, and the choreography is musical. I mean, like, there's nothing I have that is negative about that flag feature.
No
It's,
notes. Yeah.
No notes. It's just a good
Great.
moment.
It was A/B partner work. Or not even maybe just partners. They may have switched more than once, but yeah, it's A's and B's, and then they get together for some unison pops, back to A's and B's, and then finish with unison stuff. But I loved about, and this is something that, just watching it with a little bit more, finer detail, noticing that a lot of that A and B work, one group is low while the other group is high. One group's going horizontally while the other group's going vertically. Like, there was so much shape and dimension that helped add to when they get together and hit something together. Like, so cool.
Yeah, and that's another thing too with when it comes to musicality of choreography is, like, if you watch just, like, say the A part, for example, they're not going to be hitting every single note because the B part is hitting that other note, right? But then, like you said, when they all come together, it makes that final big impact of this section much more impactful because it's a full ensemble moment and you have more color. So, it's not that you always need to have every single person in a flag feature hitting every single note. You can utilize the A, B, and the fluctuation of that, the front to back facings, the drill formations. Like, even in the choreography, like, you had them run diagonally to another drill spot. They just ran out of slam, it looked like, or maybe a pushover or something. Like, they're not twirling, doing thumb flips and catch behind the backs as they do it. So, but it's still impactful because the movement is something that adds to it. So, so another smart choreographic decision there when it comes to flag features in general.
I know. I would love to see like a count by count breakdown of that, but another podcast.
Yes,
but
that's
very,
a whole
very
thing.
cool.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So the next one we have is another Blue Devils moment. This is going to be their 2019 show Ghost Light. And this, I would say, is my favorite saber feature in DCI. It's an ensemble saber feature. And just nowadays, when you look at color guard, I personally feel as if saber is kind of like a secondhand thought. Typically you have in high school, you obviously have to teach dance, you obviously have to teach flag, and then maybe you get to rifle. Very more times than not, I see groups just kind of omit saber, or if it is, it's like, maybe the senior can learn it last year or something. And so I think it's cool that they were able to get an entire ensemble onto this piece of equipment. And having marched Blue Devils, I know that it wasn't just that they had sabers. They know how to train over there, and they trained every single one of those sabers to be able to execute what they needed them to do this season. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but this is just an all around cool moment.
Like 25 people on saber? What are we talking about?
I want to say maybe even closer to 30, 40. Like, I think they have their full ensemble minus the two dancers on the prop in the center. I don't see any guard people hiding behind the props currently.
No.
So I think this is a full ensemble.
Cool. Tell me what we just watched, because
Real quick, a cute little ending right here. Ding.
oh,
So we did just watch a full ensemble do a saber feature, which is crazy. I mean, like, nowadays you're seeing a few more groups kind of join into the whole ensemble rifle line trend and things like that. We're not seeing a lot of ensemble saber out there, minus maybe like Boston and Blue Devils and some of those higher level cores, right? So that in its own it's very impressive.
sure.
But not only that, but the type of things that they're asking them to do when it comes to the choreographic choices that were made. One, it's interesting, it's different, it's not typical spin, right?
Sure.
They're working in the lateral flat plane close to the ground below their body as they're doing like double back tosses underneath their chest. They're going into some like integrated body, holding it in their armpit as they do like twirls and spins in their upper body and things like that. And then to end off the feature with an ensemble, I think it was either a 5 or a 6 catch under the leg and a batma.
Yeah.
That is like, and on the left side too, that would be rough.
I saw
for
the
me.
catch under the leg.
Right. So it's like, that is a hard skill timing wise. If you kick that leg too early, good luck to that shin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and that's a saber too. Like, she's gonna bite,
Right.
So like, for them to be able to execute that is really insane. And then another cool moment too that wasn't really showcased in this video was right before that, when they're building up into this, they have a trio moment where they lift up individual in a split, so like a split lift, and then they toss a blade toss and catch in the split, which is like crazy flexibility, one from a throughout an ensemble, and a lift, two partner responsibilities, plus a toss, like crazy, and a blade toss at that. Like that is just a well put together Blue Devils moment that I think really helps kind of contradict the allegations of like Blue Devils does basic things, you know, like which let's not let that kind of talk stand out here, right? It's high level, but I also love that it was part of like a ballad-esque hornline moment, you know, because Saber can have a really great home in those moments when it's done like that. Correct.
And I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think just like movement quality of things as well, because I mean, they got some dancers over there, so that's a really cool thing. Yeah. Yep. So my next one is going to be Phantom Regiment. This is the first corps that I marched at. This is a year I marched. I wish I could have marched this show, but this is going to be the 2011 show Juliet, and this is a really cool moment for the ending flag feature, specifically just based on the drill build up into it. So we'll give it a quick watch and then we'll chat about it.
Do it, girl.
And can we just say Phantom, probably one of the best storytellers out there in DCI? Like, such a great moment.
Yeah, rip my heart out. The guard coming down in that triangle like that, following behind her, like.
Right. Yeah. And that's a cool thing because the drill itself is just very satisfying. They're all on the back sideline. They filter in as the people start moving forward. You have the other people who are filtering in from the sides, getting into their formation and building that pyramid. And then when you also look at it compared to what the horn line is doing, they have the two inverted hearts that surround our Romeo and our Juliet. And so basically you have a frame around our characters and a literal arrow pointing to our characters and being like, look, what's about to happen. He's about to die. And then moving on into the next thing. And I think that's just like very obviously like we know what you want to look at. And we also want you to be satisfied by how we're showing you what to look at kind of thing. And then the choreography there is just so gorgeous, so body integrated. All of the performers in that guard were just gorgeous movers. The skirts that they are in is just beautiful. The way it flows when they turn.
The costuming is great. I loved the solid color, near solid color flags as well. That red color, perfect for the moment and the story, but it had just a little bit on the edge, the edge of like a lighter color, you know, just to like give it that little pop. But largely just like emotional weight, solid color flag, weight, you know, like it just hits. And then back that up with, you know, this is one of my favorite Phantom arrangements, you know, as well, like really successful. The brass, all the metals in the pit, you know, all those like, you know, beautiful metals that you're hearing as it all develops. The battery beat's amazing. That is a successful drum corps moment. Do that more, everyone.
And I don't know if you know this, but that is Elsa's procession to the cathedral, which is their corps song.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah, that's right.
So they play this every single year, multiple times every summer. So like Phantom now still plays Elsa's. Phantom back in the 70s played Elsa's. Like, that it's just such a cool thing that they were able to integrate that into the show. And I would say this is my #1 fandom show out there.
Goosebump Nation.
Yes, Goosebump Nation, very much so. Yeah, such a good show. Okay, and then moving into our last pick, I actually was not able to pick just one moment in this show.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I wanted to just give a shout out into this, but it's going to be Boston's 2024 show Glitch from last summer.
Love it.
Boston, as we know, is one of the best color guards in the activity now. So obviously they're going to have some really great moments.
That team is
and all
ridiculous.
that kind of stuff. So we'll just do one after the other.
Yep.
So that was our first moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a low brass feature, correct, in the music? So low brass feature, really cool choreography in the dance line, and a high level display of flexibility, I think, which is like not very often seen in drum corps, you know, like demonstrating high levels of flexibility, you know, and it's, I don't know if many people know this, but a lot of people in color guard tend to lose flexibility as the summer goes on, just because that's just how your muscles develop over time. You get stronger, your muscles grow. And if you don't know this, the more muscle you have, the less flexibility you have, the more flexibility,
more density, less pliability.
Correct. Yeah. So typically people tend to lose flexibility over time.
Sure.
But being able to showcase things like that, where they have the ensemble illusion into the fan kick into the split to the final split at the very end with our soloist in the middle and like all that kind of stuff, and one just really cool moment where you watch that and you're like, that's stupid, you know?
It's like it looked like dance vocabulary that you would frequently see a soloist do, but it's like 14 of them,
correct,
or something like that.
Right. And just a really cool moment to highlight that low brass feature. So just had to give that one a little shout out. This next one, moving into their ballad, I picked this one because you have a moment where the percussion is in the back with the flag line doing partnered work during the ballad, which I just like, props to them, because like, thank you for not sending the drum line to the back of the field to kneel for the ballad and just wait for the next movement to come on. Like, they put their drums down, they pick up those rings, and they're like, not only are they just holding the rings for the guard members, they're like dancing with them. And like, I only did a small section of this, but like watching the entire ballad and seeing the like the lifts and the partnering work and stuff that they do, it's just crazy. So
I know we had a bunch of members from Music City Mystique, where I'm a teacher, in this battery, and watching them do this live, I was just like, all right.
Right.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Yep, the run through.
Back to back exchange over the prop.
Yep. And they've already used that ring in like 4 different dimensions now.
Right, yeah.
Which is great. Yeah.
Another exchange over the prop kind of thing. Yeah, I think from there they start to break apart and do their own thing. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a whole moment, and it's really the whole ballad that they're spending together, and they're doing this partner phrase, and it's gorgeous, True Colors in the ballad, gorgeous song, we love that song, and then the choreography that they're doing is like, you know, it's just really great. It's a good moment that I really enjoyed. I remember just watching that and I was like, crazy, crazy. And then this last moment is a moment that I can't talk about Boston 2024 Glitch without mentioning this. This is just like their iconic ensemble rifle feature that I have seen probably everyone in this activity do a video of themselves doing this phrase and like posting it online and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like everyone's done it.
Fire.
I didn't have to learn this phrase because of the amount of times I just saw people doing it on Instagram. So we'll give a little shout out to this moment.
Ooh, I just saw that catch.
Right.
Yep. Across the field, catches.
And the really cool thing that we have to make sure that we like make note of is that a lot of people who go to drum corps once you get to the professional level, people tend to start becoming career dancers, career flags, career weapons. And that's great. You know, you find your specialty and you stick with it, right? And so a lot of the times you don't get an ensemble that can do everything, right? Like you have people who are great on rifle but can't really dance as much, so let's keep them on the rifle line and not put them on the dance line,
Sure.
right? But to have a full ensemble, do rifle, 1, do Boston rifle, 2. Like that phrase is not easy. They did 2 back-to-back catches on the top side of the gun, setting themselves up for another toss. And then that ensemble ripple, the people at the beginning of that caught on the half and then flipped over to the hole afterwards, like a purposeful half catch, which is not easy to like place properly. And so like having ensembles do that is just wild to me.
It's the same kind of thing with like, we might have seen a soloist do that in another corps, and now it's every single member.
Correct, yeah.
And just to make that hit a little bit harder for any percussion and brass people watching this out there, just imagine if during the highest level of your performance, you had to like, I'm a snare drummer, I have to go pick up quads and be amazing at those at the highest level ever, and then pick up bass drum and go be amazing at that at the highest level ever,
right? And
then go play a marimba run. Like, I mean, yeah,
it's crazy. Again, you have your specialty.
Color guard is good. Why are they so good?
It's crazy what it is nowadays.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my whole list, my top 10 color guard moments.
Well, my mind is blown, and I hope that everybody watching this, I hope that, number one, if we didn't call out something that's amazing about these cores and these clips, let us know. And if we missed any other cores and clips and favorites, please like post them down in the comments so that we can get in on it too. Because maybe we need to do a second episode, a third, a fourth, you know, of
just keep doing this every day.
Right. Because that was really ridiculous, all of those. I'm glad that I got to go back. And even shows that, like, I already worship the ground they walk on for this or for this. Now I have a whole new reason to go back and geek out.
It's always so cool, like, chatting with someone who may be in a different section or a different, like, sub-area of this activity, because then you gain a new appreciation for things, you know? Like, you mentioned some things about, the drum breaks and the background of different things and stuff like that, and it made me appreciate the moment much more. And like we were saying earlier in this episode, like, both of us are trying to, you know, not just hyper-focus on the sections that we grew up in, you know? So I think it's a really cool thing to do, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for pointing out the greatness that was, and for all the members and staff and truck drivers who put these things together. Way to go.
Yes.
Keep it up. And everybody go watch Drum Corps this summer. We're already seeing how good it's looking from all the drum corps. And, you know, by next year when we do this again, we'll have entire new phrases that everybody knows because they were so good.
Right. Yeah.
Can't wait to see what that is too.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yep.
For sure.
Well, all right. This has been another episode of The Fans Seat. We're just here to be some great fans today, and it was really a whole lot of fun. So come join us next time for the Synced Up Podcast, The Fans Seat. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you. See y'all later.